It's been a minute, well, more like an hour since I've been on this channel doing good commentary, and I am going to do a series. I'm going to do a series talking about how female anti-hero characters are perceived as more negative than male anti-hero characters. It's going to be an interesting topic, and it's not going to be what you may think it is, surprisingly. Now, in this video, I want to make a comment about this guy's YouTuber named Professor Geek. I cannot stand this guy. This guy is trash. His content is trash. His content is garbage because everything he says is just bullshit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just says things without even thinking about it. And, you know, some people say, like, well, how do you know they're not thinking about it? Some people take their time and think about something before they say it. When he thinks, it's kind of like what Patrick said in SpongeBob.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Exactly like that. There is something there that you may think that has nothing to do with whatever you're going to say. You're just saying shit. You're saying things on how you feel and how you perceive it, but not on what you know. This is the problem here that a lot of people, you know, get confused with. They feel like they talk about shit that they know, but they're really talking about things how they feel. Facts don't care about your feelings, especially when it comes to observing or analyzing media, whether it's cinema, television, YouTube, whatever it may be, yada 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 yada. Okay, just because you may perceive it to be one way, that doesn't mean it is that way. And just because you may feel a certain way, doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean you're correct. Because feelings can cloud your judgment. Feelings can get in the way with your decisions or outlook on things. And it would be clouded. So, I want to hear what this guy has to say. Because the title in and of itself is ridiculous. The Joker gave us Cruella. Let me read it one more time. The Joker gave us Cruella. Here's my problem with this comment, and the video hasn't even started. I mean, this right here already bothered me. Okay? The Joker wasn't in development in 2013. You know what movie was in development in 2013? Cruella. Look at this. Right here in the Hollywood Reporter. I remember when this article came out. I remember when this came out. Disney preps live-action Cruella de Vil movie. Updated. The writer for the studio's live-action Cinderella has been... Okay, yeah. That movie was trash. It says, after making a movie centered on Maleficent, the villainess from Sleeping Beauty, Disney is setting its sights on another bad lady, Cruella de Vil. Eileen Brosh McKenna has been hired to pen Cruella, which will bring the dog fur-loving fashionista from 101 Dalmatians into a live-action feature to be produced by Andrew Gunn, who produced Sky High and Bedtime Stories for the studio. McKenna will also produce. Okay, well, that's very odd to have Andrew Gunn produce it. That's a weird combination. But as time went by, she didn't end up writing it. Tony McNamara ended up writing it, and now Craig Gillespie is directing it. And so Cruella was in development before Joker. When was Joker in development? Let's look this up. Okay, so here it is right here. Todd Phillips, who was the director of Joker, Phillips pitched the idea. Let me put it right here. Phillips pitched the idea for Joker to Warner Brothers after his film War Dogs premiered in August 2016. Prior to War Dogs, Phillips was mostly known for his comedy films such as Road Trip, Old School, and The Hangover. War Dogs marked a venture into more unsettling territory. During the premiere, Phillips realized War Dogs wasn't going to set the world on fire, and I was thinking, what do people really want? What do people really want to see? He proposed that DC Films differentiate its slate from the competing Marvel Studios by producing low-budget standalone films. After the successful release of Wonder Woman, DC Films decided to de-emphasize the shared nature of its DC-based film franchise, the DC Extended Universe. In August 2017, Warner Brothers and DC Films revealed plans for the film, with Phillips directing and co-writing with Scott Silver and Martin Scorsese set to co-produce with Phillips, which that did not end up happening. But okay, boom, right there. August 2017. That's when the movie was in development. And being in development doesn't mean that's when the writing started. It said Phillips and Silver wrote Joker throughout 2017, and the writing process took about a year. So that means by 2018, the script was completed. But being in development doesn't necessarily mean it's in the writing phase. It's the brainstorming phase. Because there are times when they actually have to develop a storyboard. They have to come up with a concept. They have to come up with a premise before they get into the plot. Before you start what the plot is going to be, you got to know what the premise is. What is going to be the situation? And then that's when you go into the beginning, the middle, and the end. Plots don't just fall into the table like right at the spot. It takes time and a lot of rewrites. So Cruella was in development 2013, 3 years before Joker was actually in development, and 4 years before it was being written. You understand? Cruella came first, and Joker came second. The title, this guy thinks that just because Joker comes out first, Cruella came second. No. Joker was released first. Cruella was released after. But Joker wasn't created first. Cruella was. Then Joker. You see the difference now? Completely different. So this guy already thinks that Cruella was made between 2020 to 2021, after the Joker came out, which was October of 2019. You think as soon as Joker came out, Disney said, oh, let's make a solo standalone movie about a villain as a protagonist, just like what they did with Joker. You think they did all that between 2020 and 2021, which is coming out this year? No, there's pre-production, which involves brainstorming and writing. Then there's production, filming, and then post-production, where there's the edit. And of course, not only that, prior to all that, you gotta cast the actors. You gotta switch up the actors, because the actors, they come and go. They have to switch writers. I mean, again, they went through different writers. They went through different film directors. None of that happens within a year. How long did it take them to get to now, where Cruella is being released now? It took them 8 years. That's 8 years, 7 to 8 years of fully being in development. So, this title right here is already garbage. It's already garbage. It's already trash. But let's see let's hear what else he has to say. Let's see what the other trash he's going to say right here. What's he going to say?
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek, and welcome back to the channel. Analysis applied to these thoughts. You will never just have me joining into the fray of whatever the cool kids are saying about Star Wars or DC movies or what have you. Long ago, I was telling you, Mandalorian, doesn't matter how good the show is, it's bad for Star Wars. It's bad for Star Wars. And lo and behold, here we go. Look at all the power Disney gained from it and what they're able to do now. But long before that even, I was the lone voice in the wilderness pointing out.
Okay, so I remember he did a video on why The Mandalorian was bad for Star Wars. First of all, it's not. It wasn't. Okay, this guy's opinions are very unpopular. But I gotta give him props for him being honest. Foolishly honest. You could be an honest idiot. Come on now.
The Joker movie was a horrible, horrible application of the Joker's character. Doesn't matter how good the film may be, it's not the proper treatment of the Joker's character. You don't take an elemental villain and turn around and make him.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do that. I've heard this argument that a lot of people make. Okay, first of all, let's apply this to life real quick. I don't believe anybody is born evil. I don't think that's in our immediate behavior, in our DNA. I don't believe we are born evil. I believe we are born narcissists for the sake of survival, but we are not born evil. I believe it's certain circumstances, scenarios, and culture is what turns us into evil. And we have the ability to either give into it or not give into it. We don't just become evil. You have to give into it. You have to be tempted to become evil. Yeah, you could have shitty experiences in life, but there's a lot of people that were abused, that were beaten, went through the most horrific things you could think of, and never went to become an evil person. Matter of fact, they even became a good person helping people that dealt with those problems. So they actually, through the abuse that they went through and the horrific things that they saw and went through, they were able to have a positive life afterwards. Does it make it a good thing? No. But they made the decision to move on, to let the past be the past and not linger on it. Evil people linger on the past. They always focus on the past. Now, yes, you can take a character that you can sympathize and let that character become evil. The most famous villain that starts out as a sympathetic character, a character that we root for, a character that we support, is Darth Vader. He started out as a young boy named Anakin Skywalker who was born into slavery. Him and his mother were slaves. And just to go through it real quickly, so he's prophesied to be the chosen one to bring balance in the Force, balance of good and evil, yada yada yada, and he is taken, joins a Jedi Master named or Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn, and Qui-Gon Jinn wants to train him to become a Jedi, and and then Anakin grows up under Obi-Wan Kenobi's wing, and he becomes a Padawan, and now he's learning how to be a Jedi, and he's mastering the Force, and he falls in love with a woman, and sooner or later, long story short, he turns into an evil person after his mother dies, and so much other stuff happens. So he turns evil. But he started out as a good person, but then he became more troubled because he had emotional problems. He dealt with a lot of fear. And we all know what Yoda said about fear.
Mindful of your feelings.
Your thoughts dwell on your mother.
I miss her.
Afraid to lose her, I think.
What does that got to do with anything?
Everything. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
And in general, too, let's look at life. If you look at many of the school shooters, many of these kids that shoot up schools, when you find out what were the reasons of why they shot up the schools, it was because they were bullied or abused. Does that excuse what they did? Absolutely not. Like, you cannot endorse that. They don't get a pass for that. No matter how much you struggle, no matter what you went through, fire with fire is not going to work. Is it understandable? Yes. We know why they did it. Now, just because you are a victim of something, that doesn't mean you should go make other people become victims for revenge. Both wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Either way, even if it feels good. And some of us do like that idea. You know, if somebody does something bad, you want something bad to happen to them as well. Does it solve the situation? Maybe, maybe not, you know, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, it's not something that should be endorsed. But these kids didn't start out evil. They didn't start out as murderers. They weren't born murderers. They were provoked to get to that point. That's why I'm always nice to people, okay? Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? Some of those that you least expect to commit violence are the ones that end up committing the most heinous things. I mean, if you looked at a person like Jeffrey Dahmer, like, you definitely think this guy could not win in a fist fight, you know? You know, you think he's a normal guy, but he raped and ate guys. He ate them. So, don't judge a book by its cover. And that's life. Life is complicated, just like characters in movies. This guy believes that characters should be black and white when it comes to morality. No, not at all. And that's my problem. Like, we're already a minute and 21 seconds in, and this is already bugging me already. Ah, jeez, man.
Archetypes, and it's akin to the problem of taking aspirational heroes and trying to turn them into cathartic motivational heroes, like Snyder does with Superman all the time. And people will turn around and say, "Oh, no, you just don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make him a sympathetic villain. You know that he's evil." Stop. You don't understand how stories work. Maybe he doesn't make him a sympathetic villain as much as you would think sympathetic villains are. You know, well, I can kind of see what they're doing or whatever. No, you cannot have a protagonist of a story. This is just basic storytelling 101. There's no such thing as a character who's a protagonist of a story, like the Joker is in the Joker movie, and you can't have a protagonist of the story that you don't build audience sympathy and engagement with. That's just impossible.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that's where the beauty of storytelling is. I believe we could all relate to other people to a degree. And with the Joker right here, we can relate to him in many ways. Many ways. But at a smaller scale for most people. There are people that have been bullied. And they've want vengeance. There are people that were bullied because they were awkward, or like in the movie, they had mental illness. They had a mental disorder. So that's why when you hear stories about these people killing other people because they treated them badly, you understand why they did it. And what needs to happen to those people? They need to be punished. You got to put them in jail, or you got to put them into a mental asylum. Either way, it's inexcusable. That's what the movie Joker is. The Joker is a progression from a victim that turns into a murderer, a sadistic, evil murderer. And first of all, where are these rules coming in? Where are these rules? It's like, look, Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle, we sympathize him. Okay, we get him. Punisher, his wife and kids were murdered. They were killed. And, you know, he becomes a quote unquote vigilante, but he kills people. And we sympathize him. We understand why. Like, yeah, if my wife and kids were killed, yeah, I would probably do that too. You got a lot of people, you got a lot of husbands and fathers that would agree with Frank Castle. As a matter of fact, they would actually relate to him because he is a husband, and more than anything, he is a father. So there is a form of uh, relatability in that. It's relatable. You could relate to being a father, having kids, and worry about if something bad happened to them, what would you do? What would you do? But with the Joker right here, when we see him, it's a reminder of how we need to treat people. That's what I took from that movie. What I took from that movie is that we need to treat people better. We need to be more compassionate because that's what happens. That can happen. And we too, as a society, need to hold accountability to that too, because like I said, nobody is born evil. Evil people become molded to become evil. It's simple as that. And a lot of times that either has to do with how they're raised in the household, how were their parents treated. I mean, we saw in the movie that Joker, Arthur, was abused by, if I can remember, I believe his stepdad. He was abused like horrifically, and he had a mentally ill mother that basically let him be abused. So, and he's a mentally ill kid as well. So that's a recipe for a murderer. That's a recipe for a disaster. There's a train going by, and that train is a school shooting or a murder or some form of violence. That's a train wreck coming. So, yes, you can make a movie and feel sorry about the character, but then when the character becomes evil, all sympathy and empathy goes away. So when I saw throughout the whole movie, I feel bad for Arthur. But when he killed, spoiler alert, when he killed his coworker, all my sympathy and empathy went out the window. I no longer felt sorry for him. Because then, like, okay, I can empathize everything and sympathize all those other things except for that. That's where, you know, the line is crossed. Like, that you cross that line, I cannot you know, let you be excused. I can't excuse you for that. Doesn't matter what you went through. You don't do it. It's sad. I'm sorry that you had to go through that as a child and you were still going through abuse as an adult, seen as a nobody. But it still doesn't make it right. But that's how life is. It's complicated. That's why I like these characters. I don't like good characters and I don't like bad characters. What I mean is, I don't like heroes and I don't like villains. The characters I always love are anti-heroes or characters that battle with good and evil. A character like Darth Vader. He was once good, then turned into a child killer, and then got redeemed and brought balance to the Force. Okay, there was a redemption story. That's a redemption story right there. Just like Zuko in Avatar The Last Airbender. Just like him. Started out as an innocent kid, a troubled kid, then became a villain, and then became a hero. But with the Joker, we saw him turn from a victim into a villain. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. That's completely fine. What's the problem with that?
Story, the movie would be horrible and it wouldn't work if you didn't feel something, if you weren't sympathizing with and engaging with the Joker's character in that movie. Now, you might not agree with everything he does about it in the end. You might understand, oh, it's a sickness or this illness or whatever. Whatever, beside the point. You can't have a protagonist of a story and have the story work if you don't feel sympathy and engagement with that character. You have to relate to them, identify with them to some degree, to some part of you. You don't do that with elemental villains. You do not do that with elemental. That's not what they are there for. The elemental villain is there to show you that they...
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. You can do whatever you want with a character, okay? If you're going to do there are different renditions of the Joker. There is no one specific Joker. Every Joker is different. Okay? The Joker, he went from a criminal, like in Batman, Jack Nicholson's Joker. We see him go from being a gangster to being a sadistic, cruel, serial-killing clown that fell into a vat of chemicals. Okay? That's one rendition. Then we see Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. We don't know anything about him. We don't know where he came from. We don't know. He keeps making up stories about how did he get those scars on his face, what made him become who he is. So, which is a cool take on the Joker. It's mysterious. Then you got Jared Leto's Joker. And Jared Leto's Joker, well, obviously he is a guy that fell into a vat of chemicals, skin got bleached, and he went insane, and he became a pimp. Okay, it's as simple as that. We don't know much about him other than that, and I honestly don't care. Then we have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Once again, a guy who is a product of a cruel society that ended up becoming a cruel person. That's a good take on that. And if you want to make a realistic Joker, that's probably how most likely, if there was a real Joker today, Joaquin Phoenix is probably the most accurate one. The most believable one. Not Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger is not a believable Joker. If you ask me. I think Joaquin Phoenix, prior to Joaquin Phoenix, he was probably realistic. But with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, okay, that's believable. Like, okay, that can be a thing. Because people like him already exist. The only difference is they don't have clown makeup. And they don't have a burgundy outfit. That's the only difference. We have a lot of Jokers. A lot of Jokers in this world. Like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. So I think it's a good take on modern reality applied to a comic book character. And once again, honestly, in storytelling, there really is no right or wrong. It's all subjective. It's all relative. One person might prefer this interpretation of a character over the other. Just because you may not like it, that doesn't mean, oh, I don't like it because it wasn't made right. Well, what is right? What is right? If it's in the hands of an individual who has the freedom to do whatever he or she wants, then he or she can do whatever they want. Simple as that. Just like The Last Jedi. I hate that movie. I don't like The Last Jedi. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie to me, okay? I don't like the way what they did to the characters. However, was it made wrong? No. Did they make it incorrectly? No. Why? Because they made their own version, a whole different version, a whole different part of the saga. They made a different chapter. The chapter, because it really is a chapter, part of the Skywalker saga. It's the 8th chapter. And it's a second to the final story of the Skywalker saga. But I support Rian Johnson for having the creative freedom to do whatever he wanted. Because that's what a director and a writer should have, is creative freedom. If they are given the property and they have the rights to do whatever they want to do with it, then so be it. They are not entitled to whatever you want to see. They don't have to make it however you want it. They want to make it however they want to make it, and hopefully you'll like it. That's the thing. You can't always please people. You're always going to have critics. Sometimes you're going to have more than others. Sometimes you're probably going to have more haters today, and in the next 10 years, those haters become lovers. Who knows? Or you got lovers today, and then you're going to have those lovers turn into haters years later. Who knows? But there is no right or wrong in that. Call me a postmodernist if you want. Call me a postmodernist. I watch a lot of Terrence Malick movies, okay? Terrence Malick's movies, they're very unorthodox. Very unorthodox. Almost no plot for many of his movies, like To the Wonder and Knight of Cups. There's really no real plot in those movies. Song to song, same thing. I feel like with The Tree of Life, like he did very well with that one, and then since then he just started making a lot of movies nonstop. And then when he recently did A Hidden Life, now that movie really has a plot. It has a beginning, middle, and an end, like a real story. It has a real story. He hasn't made a movie that had a real story since 10 years ago, actually, 10 years. But he's a great director. Terrence Malick is one of those people that he doesn't really need to tell a story. He's an illustrator. He shows what he imagines. He puts his imaginations on film. As a lot of people say, he will make a great director for a National Geographic documentary. I mean, I swear, I feel like sooner or later, I would not be surprised if he had Neil deGrasse Tyson play a cameo role in his next movie or whatever. I would not be surprised. I would love to see that, actually. But this is a director that I highly respect because he makes things however he wants them. Whether it's chaotic or not, whether it's unorthodox. I am a nonconformist, and most artists are nonconformists, and they should be. They need to be nonconformists. Viewers are conformists. They don't understand art. Just because you may understand a certain aspect of storytelling, that doesn't mean you understand art, because, quite frankly, you're probably not an artist. And an artist has a different worldview than how you see it. The artist is about their perspective, not yours. You get to decide that on your own. What you see is a reflection of what the artist envisioned. And that's what you get. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. So far, from the movie Joker here, I know more people that love it than those that hate it. Some people, they like, because you know why they like it? Because this is different. This is a different take on the Joker. We don't want the same thing. Give us something new. And then when something new is given, people don't like it. Okay, make up your mind. How about you stop demanding something and just take what you get? How about that? Because no matter what you demand, no matter what you request, when it's given to you, you're not pleased by it. And then you want the same formula all over again. So people are going to say, oh, this is the same old stuff. You got to do something new. And they do something new. Oh, we don't like this new stuff. We got to go back to the old ways. And then you go back to the old ways, and it's the same thing over and over and over. You can't please people. Just do whatever the hell you want. Just do it. Just, just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
True evil in the world. Right? As much as I have problems with Nolan's films, certain things in The Dark Knight did really get the Joker right. Alfred says some people just want to watch the world burn. There's no understanding them. There's no any of that. About as close as you can get to that is the Killing Joke. But even in that, the big twist of the Killing Joke was this probably isn't even his actual backstory. It doesn't even matter what his backstory is. It's not about, or it is about the fact that he's trying to say, anybody can have a bad day. Anybody can be the Joker. All you need is that one bad day. No. That's giving into that elemental evil. You can't have... Now, sympathetic villains are great. Just like cathartic motivational heroes. They serve their purpose and they're necessary. But just like aspirational heroes, the precious few that we need to maintain and preserve, because everything falls apart if we don't have that pure and wonderful archetype to flow from, the elemental evil.
Oh, okay. Let me continue right here. Now, again, there's the... God, he looks creepy like that. There we go. Much better. Okay, again, I'm just gonna regurgitate what I just said earlier. But you can do a lot in storytelling. And there is no right or wrong. Only what's in your... Let me tell you here's the right and wrong part, okay? First of all, it's based on what do they want. That's really what it comes down to. Here's the thing. I'll give you an example of what's right and what's wrong, okay? You try to make let's say you're gonna make a movie about Martin Luther King Jr., okay? And you're gonna do a biographical story about him. And the way you tell his story is you tell his story from the middle of his life, the end of his life, the legacy of his life, and the beginning of his life, and then the middle of his life again, and then after his death, and then you go back when his parents met before he was even born. Okay, like that right there is just like, oh my gosh, what? Like, this is messy right here. And it's not right. It's actually kind of disrespectful because this involves a real person. I believe there are things that should be applied when it comes to historical people. When you're talking about a real life person, okay, I think the story archetype or what he's saying here applies to that, but in a non-fiction way. So you gotta have, it's gotta be there's gotta be a specific formula for that if it involves real people. But if it's a fictional character in a fictional story in a fictional world, then I feel like, you could do whatever you want with that. Okay? It's like, seriously. It's like a big giant canvas. You don't have to paint a Mona Lisa. You don't have to paint a Basquiat or a Picasso. Don't try to be like those. Do something your own. Do your own thing. And if they don't like it, fuck it. Fuck them. Who cares? And that's the problem with a lot of these directors and these writers today. They care about what the public thinks. No. And it just... Ah, and that's the thing. Todd Phillips did not care with what he was doing with the Joker. And joke is on all you guys, no pun intended, for that we're gonna say this movie was gonna suck. The movie made over $1 billion, and it's the most, I believe, it's the most profitable movie ever made. So I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh my gosh.
Villains, we need them there because villainy falls apart. There's no point of heroism if you don't have real and true evil to fight against. If every villain can kind of be explained away and sort of identified with, and so I kind of see where they're coming from, that's the work of the trickster. That's the run rampant work of the trickster we see in our society today. Question everything, nothing means nothing. There are no delineated lines in matters. There's no good and evil. That's where that gets you. We need elemental villains and stop taking the precious few that we have, like our aspirational heroes, and trying to turn them into sympathetic villains.
He's making it seem like first of all, again, there is nothing wrong with that. Who made up these rules? Who made them up? Is there a Bible? Did God write it down? Who comes up with these? Okay. Now, here's my problem with that. People like him, you know why he has an issue with it? You know why he has an issue? Because he feels conflicted. He feels bad for feeling bad for the character. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for the character. I mean, like, I don't feel bad for feeling bad for the person. Like I said, I can feel bad for what you went through, but I don't feel bad for what you end up doing if it's evil. Okay? I have the ability to not have those emotional roller coasters. I don't know about him. I don't know about a lot of other people. Okay? I'm a grown ass man. Okay? I know how to handle certain things. Okay? And I don't understand why this is such a big deal for people. Okay? I'm sorry. I mean, how many mass shootings do we have to see and then realize, why did they do what they end up doing? I mean, sometimes we gotta take responsibility for ourselves too. Do you think maybe if we had treated everybody with more compassion and more love and more support, that there would be less evil? Do you think if humanity was more compassionate, we would have less killings? I do. I believe that would be the case. But we are conditioned to be all for ourselves. And therefore, because we are so all for ourselves, we disregard what other people feel and what they're going through. And we don't value it. And we don't value people. They don't feel value. Then who knows how much that is damaging them. People are supposed to help each other. People are supposed to unite. Maybe it was better to be on your own when you lived in a country where there was only like 70 something people, but when you live in a world where in a country where there's 300 million people and more, and we're talking about we got to make society better. Well, we got to work together. That's what we got to do. And working together involves opening a woman's door. Well, not just open a door for a woman, open the door for everybody, anybody. Say bless you when somebody sneezes, hello, good day, good night, like just little things like that. Little things. Or tell somebody, I like your hat, or I like your shoes. Like, give them a compliment. Say something nice. And it makes their day feel better. And that's what I took from the movie Joker once again. It was a good lesson. It was a good lesson and a good reminder of why compassion is important. Because the thing is, unlike Jack Nicholson's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker and Jared Leto's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, we have a lot of those. As a matter of fact, we have them every year. Every year we got a Joker. He sounds like one of these pretentious film school students that feels like he knows everything. I'm wondering if he went to film school. I cannot stand people that went to film school. I just can't stand them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them. I went to film school and everything. Like, so what? So what? All the information you know about film, I got the same information from the University of Google and got a bachelor's degree in film theory from State College of YouTube, okay? Boo hoo hoo, congratulations. And I got my AA degree in film at the public library. So, ooh, yeah. And should I mention that I also got a doctorate degree from the University of Wikipedia? Ooh, yeah, that's right. Get out of here. Fuck out of here.
Motivation videos. So, and I pointed that out. No, people just couldn't handle that I was talking against the Joker because that's not what. No, if you're against the SJWs, you're supposed to support the Joker movie. That's the narrative. That people would say, well, so and so, this channel likes it. Well, this channel likes it. What do I care what they like? I can respect other channels and disagree with them a lot of the time, which I do.
Okay, I agree with him right there. That is very true. Some people, they want you to like movies, certain movies, just so you could be a part of a movement. That's not how you become an independent viewer and an independent thinker. You don't join groups, okay? I could respect that this guy, he's an independent thinker and an independent viewer, and he doesn't fall on the bandwagon like myself. I can respect that, and I admire that. But I just feel that, not feel. He's saying things as if he seems to be a person that sees the world in black and white, when the world is gray. And I can tell he doesn't like that. Most people don't, because we want answers for everything. We want life to be simple. You're complicating life even more if you try to simplify it. The more you try to simplify it, the more complicated it becomes. Life is complicated regardless. What we need to do it's not to overcomplicate it, and it's not to simplify it. It's just to understand it. To understand why it's complicated. We need to accept the fact that it's complicated, and we don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like complicated things because we're not problem solvers, and we don't like puzzles. We don't like problems because it requires thinking and work. It requires work. And this applies to politics too and everything. I mean, everybody. I don't care what your political views are or anything. And I don't care how you may see my views. It's not political for me. It's just social. You can't let an institution solve the world's problem. You got to take that step too. It starts from the bottom up. It all starts from the bottom up.
And I'm seeing now, with this Cruella trailer, finally getting to Cruella here. I had to lay that groundwork first, though, but I'm seeing now people scratching their heads and rolling their eyes, rightfully so. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And it is, as people are rightfully identifying, it is another step in the line, or another step in the progression of Disney's penchant for trying to take female villains. Well, let's round them out. Let's show how patriarchal society made them that way. So we got that with the ridiculous Maleficent movies.
Okay. Man, I can't wait to cover my video series on this topic. Okay. This movie was in development before the whole virtual signaling, political correctness, identity politics craze came in. This really didn't come in till like 2015. Like during the last year, the final year of Obama's administration. That's when the craziness started coming in, because then the election was coming around and it affected worldwide, believe it or not. So in 2013, it was already in development before all that crazy stuff happened. And I don't know what this person got, what this dude saw from the trailer. Go watch the trailer and watch it from what it looks like. I don't see any mention about men. I don't see any insinuation about men. I don't hear them talking. It sounds like woman to woman to me. It looks like Emma Thompson is going to be the villain, and Emma Stone is a protagonist who happens to be a villain too. So it looks like we're going to see two villains going up against each other. I didn't see any male characters really other than Horace and Jasper and Mark Strong's character, who is an amazing actor. I love Mark Strong. He's a great actor. But I don't see that. And most people don't. Most people don't see it. It's just the loud minority of the anti-SJW people who are actually just as bad, if not worse, than SJWs. It's ridiculous. I don't see any of the patriot. And here's another thing. He's already making assumptions. He's already assuming. He already made up his mind that this is going to be a somewhat feminist type movie. So now we live in a time to, yes, sadly, there are movies that had a strong feminist agenda, that they didn't really care about the story, they cared about the agenda. Movies like as Charlie's Angels and, what's that other one? Ghostbusters, with the all-female cast. But ever since those two movies came out, any movie with a female lead is already labeled as a feminist, girl power, woman power, female liberation movie. Okay, now that's where the sexism comes in, and that's where, like, I'm telling you, there's a lot of sexism within the anti-SJW community. As a matter of fact, the majority of it is sexist. It is. Facts. And they get upset about it because we're calling them out. It's true. If the shoe fits, fucking wear it. Okay? Sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry. The only thing I'm sorry about is that you don't see that. Because you're blinded by your sexism. And sometimes you can't get mad at them because they were raised in a sexist society. Like, subconscious sexism. That's what it is. Subconscious sexism. There's subconscious racism, subconscious sexism. You're not trying to be sexist. You just had to have happened to absorb certain sexist views that is now in your brain and you don't realize it, but it's coming out of your mouth. So, for him to already assume that because it has a female lead, that's sexist. That's already sexist. When people say, there's two different types, okay? Just because you criticize a movie with a female character doesn't mean you're sexist. But if you dislike a movie because it has a female lead character, then you're sexist. You understand? I dislike, the Ghostbusters movie because it's a bad story. I don't like it because there's women in it. That's not why. I don't like it because it's not a good story. It wasn't funny. It was just bad writing, man. I mean, it was dull. Let me tell you something. People were saying, like, it was a feminist thing. It was like, bro, no, it was boring. Man, I was bored. I didn't even finish it, man. I couldn't make past 30 minutes. I was just like, okay, I'm not wasting any more time watching this. Like, I don't have to force myself to do this. Oh, man. God bless those movie critics that watched the whole thing, man. Man, God bless Chris Stuckman for doing that. I don't know how he did it. Man, that movie is boring. But I don't like it because it's boring and the characters are whack. The writing is whack. Okay? The jokes are whack. Everything is whack. Okay? But you see, I never said or made up my mind that it was going to be a bad movie because it had an all-female cast when I saw the trailer. I was skeptical to begin for I don't care if it was with Bill Hader, Um, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, or Ryan Reynolds in it. I don't care if they had those actors in it. I'm just skeptical of those that remake classics or make sequels of classic movies. If it's a classic film attached to it, I already get skeptical in general. But I'm not closed-minded. I'll take a look. I'll make my own opinion. Because sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. That's why I don't really say, oh, this movie's gonna suck. Because I've been wrong many times. And then when I say this movie's gonna be good, man, I was wrong. Man, I thought The Last Jedi was gonna be a good movie. Boy, I was wrong. I thought I was gonna like it, man. I thought it was gonna be, oh man. But when I saw The Great Gatsby, I thought that movie was gonna be, meh. But I loved it. I saw it. I loved it. I think it's the best adaptation of The Great Gatsby. I like it better than the Robert Redford one. Way better, way better. And I like it that they add, hip hop music. They added Jay-Z, Andre 3000, Fergie, and Q-Tip. I like that because many, like The Great Gatsby, in and of itself, the Roaring Twenties is still relevant to this day. In general, it's just the music has changed, and I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool, very unique. I like Baz Luhrmann. Over the years, I ended up appreciating his work more. But that's just the problem. You're already making up the assumption that this is that kind of movie, and that's very close-minded. And that is sexist. It is. It is.
We've got that with, and it's not even just Disney. The Wicked franchise was doing that. It's something that, to some degree, that kind of tactic isn't all bad. I point to John Gardner's Grendel. The novel Grendel about the monster of Beowulf. You can do that quite well. The problem is when that becomes a movement, when it becomes a lens through which you're encouraged to look at every villain through, or every iconic villain and iconic hero, good versus evil stories. Disney is doing that. Disney is doing that. They're riding this wave. They think it's going to make them money, and it's been ridiculous. It's been ridiculous with their movies thus far. And now the fact that they're trying to do it with Cruella de Vil is really just the like they've finally chosen one in which it's so transparent how ridiculous it is.
The question is, are they making money? Are they making money? Because if I can recall, I think Maleficent did very well in the box office, didn't it? Let's check it out. Maleficent. How much did it make? Okay, between $180 to $263 million, it made $758.5 million. That's a smash hit. How much did the sequel make? $185 million. Box office? $491.7 million. That's a hit. That is a hit. So I don't know what he's saying it like it's a bad thing. If it's making money, it's making money. We know this isn't just Disney. This is every movie studio. If they see something that's a trend, this is a trend. This is a trend. It happens all the time. It makes money. Whatever's hot, whatever people like, because people like Maleficent, people like Deadpool, people liked Venom, people like Joker, people like Harley Quinn, and then we're getting this Cruella movie. They've all made money. They all made money. The reason why Birds of Prey didn't make a lot of money, it was because it was the worst marketing I've ever seen for a movie. A lot of people forgot that movie was coming out because nobody was talking about it. They started marketing it when Joker came out. So it was overshadowed by its competition. I guess they thought because it was Harley Quinn and Joker, like it would be the best time to market them at the same time. Like that was just dumb. And they released it in February, which January, February, and March are the worst seasons of the movie industry to release big blockbuster movie, unless it's a Marvel movie. Marvel, they could release a movie any month and it will be successful. DC is not Marvel. Birds of Prey, that's a summer movie. That movie was made for the summer, and if it came out between May and August, it would have been a hit. It would have been a hit. And then it got worse because literally like 2 weeks after, or like a week and a half later, that's when coronavirus hit really bad. And that messed up the movie industry. We're still in post-COVID. People are barely going to the movies. Well, they're like when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, people were slowly going to the movies. It was a good head start, but still, it's. I mean, I still think it's a little too early, but something tells me they're gonna make their money from Disney Plus. I feel like that's where the money's gonna come in. Because also, I find it stupid that you're releasing Cruella in theaters and on Disney Plus Premiere at the same time. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. That's like, man, I don't know. Excuse me. But if it's making money, it's making money. Now, you're going to have flops. Of course you're going to have flops. Charlie's Angels, first of all, nobody cares about Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels is a movie, it was a movie that nobody cared about. Nobody cared about. You know why? Because it's not relevant. There's nothing relevant about Charlie's Angels. Let's go to Charlie's Angels. How much did that make? That thing did not even make a profit. How much did the other one make? Dang it won't tell me. Go to Kristen Stewart filmography. Let's go down. Charlie's Angels. How much did that make? Oof. 48 to 55 million, 73 million in the box office. Oh hell no. No, that's a clusterfuck right there. How much did Ghostbusters make? 229 million. So what? Like it broke even? Something like that. Had to have broken even. Something like that. What about Men in Black International? First of all, I don't know. If Will Smith is not in it, don't even make a Men in Black movie, okay? If Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are not in it, I'm out. I'm checking out. I don't want it. I do not want it. That's just not. Nope. Men in Black 3? No. Men in Black. I don't know. How much did that make? 94, 110 million, 253 million in the box office. I mean, it's a popular franchise, but and you got, it says the film was a box office disappointment and received generally negative reviews, who criticized the lackluster action and forgettable plot. Okay, so it's just, it is what it is. Or how about Ocean's 8? Now, I loved Ocean's 8. Ocean's 8 is a good movie. What the heck? Okay. Alright. Now what about okay, so Ocean's 8, how much did that make in the box? $70 million budget. And it made $297 million. That's an all-female cast. It's a women empowerment movie. Made money. It's making money. I don't know why y'all think these are failures. What, you think just because it didn't make $1 billion, it's a failure? The question is, did they make their money? Did they get the money back? Did they make a profit? That is what's considered a success. Did they make a profit? So, I don't understand this whole anti-SJW culture. I just don't get it. Oh my gosh. Let's continue with this fuckery here.
It is utterly ridiculous. Cruella DeVille, you cannot, for a children's movie, you cannot get more elementally evil than a woman who wants to skin puppies and wear their skins as a coat. Don't, don't.
That's that's actually pretty cool. I want to see that story. I want to see that. Honestly, a solo movie about a woman that skins puppies to see how she came to be so sick and evil. Like, why did she become that? I'd see it. I'd see it.
Don't even try to tell me that you want to write a story about, well, let's see how she got where she was. And yeah, she's evil. Yeah, she's bad. And I don't know how the movie's going to portray her ultimately. It might make her very sympathetic. It might make her just showing how she became so evil. Whatever, it doesn't matter. As I've said, when you got a protagonist of the story, stop pretending that you're not going to sympathize, empathize, identify some way to some degree with that character. That's what stories do. You won't follow a story if you have a protagonist that you.
I watch movies about a lot of people that I have no relation to. Like when people say, "Did you relate to the character at all?" Nope. I don't know what. That's like perfect example. My One of my favorite characters, Darth Vader slash Anakin Skywalker. There is nothing about Anakin Skywalker that I see myself in or have any like I can relate to this person. I just like to watch it. I'm watching like a play. I'm just because I'm watching something that doesn't mean I want that thing to reflect me or be a part of that. That's not how I view movies. I feel like this person is Professor Geek watches movies to look for something that he can relate to. And that's not a good way to watch a movie because let me ask you this, do we relate to Jack in The Shining? Do we relate to him? I'm sorry. I don't even nope, I don't even get him. Do we understand Michael Corleone? Like can I relate to him? Nope. No relation. I don't even get that. Can you relate to Hannibal Lecter? No. No, I cannot. It seems like Professor Geek is trying to he thinks that every character you need to relate to it in some way. No, you don't. You don't. Eh, Bro, I don't even know if I could even continue. This is just about to. I hate stupidity. Stupidity is I can only handle so much. I can only tolerate so much. Let's continue.
Can't relate to in any way possible. So the movie's going to draw you in, try to draw you in at some level like that. I have no interest in it. And yes, people are pointing out that it is a progression from movies like Maleficent and movies like this that Disney's been doing for a while now, and that people have been writing books for a while now. They're all kind of books. There's a whole series of books, teen books or whatever that Disney's released on. I think they do Ursula.
Also, it's rated PG-13 too, so it's not necessarily for little kids. FYI.
And different Disney villains on how, well, this is their pain, this is their problems, and how they were mistreated by society. It's totally ridiculous. And now they're doing it, with Cruella DeVille, which is absurd. It is aesthetically, people have pointed out, it's following on the aesthetics of the ridiculous Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, and it's trying to follow that angle a little bit.
Okay, I don't even see that. Harley Birds of Prey didn't even come to mind when I saw the trailer. It literally looks like The Devil Wears Prada meets Joker, which is another great movie. I feel like this is more of gonna be a Devil Wears Prada movie, but the character is gonna be evil too, the main character. So I see it's people like him. They're already making assumptions. They already came to a conclusion that a movie's gonna come out this way because all other movies were like this. I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not petty like that. I'm not that much of a sissy crybaby wimp. I mean, like guys like him act like they know it all. They got all their toys and posters and books, comic books and everything, trying to validate themselves of being actual fans, like they actually know it all. That's another thing I can't stand a lot about these YouTubers. They all gotta display their toys and posters just to show that they're fans. I don't need to show you anything about that to show that I'm a fan. I'm a fan. You don't need to see my toys or my collection or anything. My toys and my collection are irrelevant to my opinions. They are irrelevant to my thoughts. I honestly don't even really want to continue watching this. I'm barely over halfway through. 13, I said, oh my gosh. I mean, I think, because I'm going to cover another video that he did covering anti-heroes. I mean, it's just, oh my fucking gosh, bro. So, it's people like him that ruin the fun. They don't want to have fun anymore. That's the thing. They don't want to have fun. And when they do want to have fun, that's not even fun. Because there's always going to be something that they're going to complain about. There's always something. People don't want to have fun anymore. People they don't even know what they want. That's why I'm just like y'all need to chill. Just chill out. Just chill out. And then plus, I'm excited for this movie because 5 things. 1, is taking place in the 70s. 2, it involves fashion. It looks like Devil's Wears Prada. Tony McNamara is the screenwriter. He did my favorite period film, The Favorite, no pun intended. And Craig Gillespie, the director of I, Tonya, and it stars Emma Stone. Emma Stone, like, I'm a big Emma Stone fan. She does not pick bad movies. I don't think there's a single bad Emma Stone movie other than movie 43 that I did not enjoy. Everything she's done, I enjoyed, except for movie 43. Battle of the Sexes was a meh movie. It's a forgettable story, even though it's a true story involving Billie Jean King. But it was a great performance. But this looks like a role that's perfect for her. Those 5 things that I just mentioned, like, take my money. I'm gonna go see it. I'm seeing it opening night. Is it gonna be good? I don't know. Is it gonna be bad? I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be good. I don't hope it's gonna be bad. And I'm not gonna have low expectations. Nor am I gonna have high expectations. I don't do both. I don't go to extremes. But I'm optimistic. I'm going in optimistic. Let's put it that way. I'm going in optimistic. I'm not going in pessimistic or being cynical, or being overly optimistic. No, just optimistic, hoping it's going to be a good movie. And something tells me it might be a good movie. I think it will be a good movie. I think it will be. But let's say even a lot of people like it, and I may not like it. Who knows? Maybe the majority of the viewers will like it and I may not like it. Or maybe I will like it and most people didn't like it. Or me and a majority of other people like it. You never know. Yeah, I'm not going to continue with this video, with this bullshit right here. Nah, I'm not going to continue with this, guys, okay? Alright, everybody. That's it for this video. I will cover my anti-hero series that I said I am working on. And live long and prosper, and may the force be with you.